Hello, good morning, Justin. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Dharam. How are you? It's good to be on this side of the. Actually, I'm in the same time zone as you for the
Exactly.
first time.
Hey, thank you for accepting my invite for this podcast series, not just one podcast. So we'll have more and more discussion around various topics about the project program portfolio management. So thank you for accepting this invite. And given that you're a very, very busy person and you're coming with, reason I approach you because you're coming with vast experience as a project program manager and you're involved in some of the major work happening in Neom City and Xator and many things you happening. So from these discussion, I'm hoping to bring the knowledge out from you and share it with the wider audience. So so thank you for being part of this series, knowledge sharing series.
Certainly a pleasure, and it's always an honor to be your guest, Dharam.
And yeah, thank you. So feel free to talk about yourself and let me introduce. Justin happened to be working for Xator as one of the senior director position and working for Neom City. And Neom City as you can see on the background, beautiful line you can see. And when this is done, you can proudly say that, hey, I played a very important role on this one from the security aspect point of view, from the company doing a lot of construction work. And you can talk more about it. So that's where Justin is. He has a great interest in football, American football. So his experience will also come out of those. He's learning from the on the field what he did and what he learned and what he has done as a project program manager with this with the company he's working for. Yeah, would like to say
Absolutely.
something.
No, I appreciate it. It's been an exciting journey. Of course, going through the PMI certifications with you, Dharam. But I played football at North Dakota State University. Of course, American football. I know we're recording this as it's halftime on the World Cup final with Argentina up 2-0.
Oh,
Sorry to ruin it there for you, Dharam. I know you're waiting on the highlights, but yeah. Anyway, I've spent most of my career at this point in time actually in the Middle East. So I arrived in the Middle East working in Qatar actually in 2010. I arrived 3 days before they announced that Qatar had won the 2022 World Cup, and so I remember saying to myself, my young and dumb and inexperienced self at that time, that oh well, that's 2022. I'm not going to be around for that, and of course, those words did not age well. And I still find myself in the Middle East and consider Qatar, one of my home away from homes, as well as Saudi Arabia. So it's always funny to look back at that in 2010 when I first arrived in Doha, and the changes not only in Qatar but throughout the Middle East. It's incredible, and as you mentioned, the transformation, quite frankly, that's happening in Saudi Arabia right now, and with the Neom and Qiddiya and Alula and the Red Sea and all the things in Riyadh with the King Salman Park, and now they just open or announced a new airport. I mean, it's just I feel like I'm definitely in a very blessed place and very lucky
yeah,
to be a part of such great opportunities that are coming along. For our company, as well as this past year, Parsons had just purchased us. We typically were a just a U.S. defense contractor, and then with Parsons, purchasing us, being a part of that family, it certainly opens the doors to so many more things. And Parsons has been in the Middle East since I think 1972, and so here I was, with Xator, the kind of the man on the island over there in the Middle East, and now I'm amongst thousands. So it's extremely exciting what's happening and being a part of such an amazing once in a lifetime type project. As you can see in my background, the line and just everything going on up in the Neom area, words. I was just recently up there, and words cannot accurately describe what my eyes have seen. It's absolutely incredible, and it's very exciting. So, and as you mentioned, my athletic background, everyone that works with me typically, I always say that what I learned about the game of life by playing college athletics, can never be duplicated in a classroom. And just the time management and the commitment and accountability to not only to yourself but to your teammates, and not only that, experiencing adversity and overcoming it, and going on road games ended up being, really, of course, it's always fun to play in front of the home crowd, so to speak, but you really come together as a team, and it's you against the world type mentality when you go on the road and play in somebody else's house. And so I've really taken those same principles, so to speak, and applied that to my professional work. And it's, as an offensive lineman, you always want to be the one in the background and let the star players take all the accolades. And so I always am trying to promote my teammates, the ones that, quite frankly, truly get the work done, and promote them, because they're the ones that ultimately are going to make me look good. So I'm very much aware of that and appreciate my teammates very well.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, it's good to have this kind of experience going through. And yes, you mentioned once in lifetime opportunity to work in such a emerging technology base and extraordinary technology you're going to see here. So it's good to be part of that, and you're not only part, you're playing an important role there, and that makes you a more experienced person, and more somebody who has seen the world differently. And because we are doing the thing, most people are involved in doing the same thing, similar way all the time, but you're going to do new things a new way, and you're going to explore things which can be bringing more value to the project, to the company, and whatnot.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's when we talk about Neom, of course, you talk about the principles of we call it the basic blocking and tackling, but you also have to challenge yourself of what you almost have to come with a mentality of what is not good enough.
Yep.
And that you need to find a new way to do it, and do it better and better and stronger. So it's as we always say, if it were easy, everybody'd be doing it. And so we embrace the challenge. I think even Parsons literally just came out with a new advertisement that said "challenge accepted." So I guess it goes right in. There's my plug for Parsons right there with our new advertising. But it truly is. It's never been done before, and it's extremely exciting.
Yeah, and you talked about challenge accepted. You've gone through 5 certificates in this year, and PMP, RNP, ACP, and then PgMP, PfMP. You kind of accepted that, hey, let me take it on and give it my best shot. And when I'm very happy to see that you worked with me 2.5 months, around that 75 days. Yep. You got your PgMP within a month time, and then PfMP in 20 days. So we're talking one of the, two of the most prestigious certificate for program manager, portfolio manager. And people spend hours and hours and hours and days. And you being so busy person and still got it done in the record time. And not just passing the exam with above target result is exceptional. So
yeah, and it's, again, and I know everyone under the sun, we all have, our professional lives, and everything is, we're always busy. And one of my mentors, he's a retired Army Ranger, and he told it best to me. You know, he ended up getting his MBA from Syracuse University in the middle of a war zone. I mean, how incredible is that?
Yeah.
You know, and so you know, when he was telling me, you know, of course we can always get sucked into that social media, or you know, we always can get into, you know, Instagram or whatever, or YouTube, where we start looking at memes or funny videos, and all of a sudden you realize an hour just passed by, you know, and you're like, man, I could have, you know, done a practice test for my PfMP, you know, at that time. And that was kind of the mentality that I ended up having. You know, of course, everyone, you know, is busy with, you know, their family and their personal lives, but I guarantee you, when you take a real, honest, hard look at yourself, there's going to be an hour, 2 hours within your day somewhere that you know, that's where you can make it happen, and that's ended up being what I did. You know, there was a couple times on a, you know, I was very tired, and I just wanted to, you know, relax and watch some funny videos on YouTube or whatever, and get some laughs. And I watched about 10 minutes of it, and then I caught myself, and I'm like, no, get your butt out of bed, get over there and take another practice test. And that's literally, I was, you know, chewing myself out, quite frankly.
Yeah, great. And that actually brings us to our today's topic, which is situational awareness of project program portfolio managers. So what you mentioned just now, awareness, being awareness, hey, realizing that, hey, you could have done something in this time. If you're not aware, you just lie down and watch video for hours and hours and sleep and wake up in the morning, go out and you then complain, hey, I'm busy. I have so much work going on. And again, it's all a prioritization as well. How
Yep.
you prioritize your work, what is your focus at this stage? And that's what the topic, today's topic, situational awareness for project managers, program managers, portfolio managers. Not only that, but leaders running the organization, big organization. So I like to start with a quote from Robert Frost.
One more time.
So we're talking about, you know, the situation.
Yep.
There's two possible options. One is everybody's going on that direction, and this one is nobody done.
The
So
road less traveled.
basically,
Yep.
yeah, we're talking about Robert Frost. But emphasizing this statement, how can a project manager make the right call to become 360-degree thinker? I mean,
Okay.
the awareness, you know, what's happening around within organization, with my competitors.
That's a great question. You know, I would go back to kind of my initial start with my current company. The first contract that we had won, and again, we were just a very small organization, and the contract that we had won had never been done before, and even some of the folks within the industry were telling our CEO, "Good luck," you know, and that's a definitely a it'll make your hair on your back stand up, like, okay, what did I just sign myself up for? But you know, from a situational awareness standpoint, that's how does a PM make the right call and have an understanding? You know, first, of course, you got to go through the processes, you know, and doing the proper risk assessments and everything else from that perspective, making sure you have all the information you need to, and also understanding, I think, especially in this time and age with you know, the post COVID, where everybody kind of likes to work from home. There are going to be things that you're only going to find out until you're on the ground. You're not going to be able to sit from your computer in the friendly confines. You have to get out. I'm a firm believer in that. There are just things on the ground that you're not going to be able to understand until you're there. I know I have that challenge within. I've had that challenge, I should say, within my own organization, where, you know, there's just things that I can't explain that until they're on the ground, they wouldn't understand. And so having that full understanding, first and foremost, of what you're getting into, and sometimes, you can't be afraid to make a mistake either. I firmly believe that. Again, but you have to be able to back up as to why you made the decision that you went with. You
Exactly.
can't just go off on a limb just to say, well, everybody else was doing it this way, I want to be different. Well, you better have a real good justification for why you did what you did. But if you did that, if you've taken all those things into account, and quite frankly, I would certainly bounce the ideas before you truly go off and make those decisions. Again, as I've mentioned before, I've been extremely blessed to have some great mentors and leaders that I've looked up to over the years, and I usually will talk with them. I will also make sure that I go outside of my normal channels as well. Somebody that I can, in confidence with, and just bounce the idea off of them that have zero interest in the particular effort that I'm going for. I think that's very important to get that kind of independent, analysis to where, a lot of times, I guarantee, actually, probably every time that I've done that, when gone out and spoken and bounced an idea off with someone that has no dog in the fight, so to speak, they'll always say, "Well, did you think of this?" And I'll just sit there and go, "Gosh, I didn't." And you know what? Because of once I did think of that, it was literally going, you know what? Maybe it's probably not a good idea as to why what I was thinking of doing. Or sometimes when that particular person does say that, maybe I did think of it, and then it just further justifies the reasoning as to the path that I want to go down. So I think, with that being said, certainly there are huge risks going down a path that has not been traveled. But the greatness of that is when if you've done the right things, and dot your I's and cross your T's, so to speak, and made that justification and come out, looking great. I think you've just forged a new path to be able to, for others to follow, so to speak, and then that
Exactly.
becomes the new path traveled.
Exactly. And we have been talking about the line in the Neom city, and we see the picture, beautiful picture in the background. You have, and you went there just last week or so on the ground. You have been listening meetings and so and so, but first time you went there, what was, probably you realized something new there, which you were not aware when you're sitting in your air conditioned room.
Yeah, I mean, some of the biggest things, you read about the scale and everything else. It's one thing to read about it, but then to see it, it's truly incredible. Again, it's like, wow. I think one of the biggest things that I didn't realize was traveling from one particular location, an office building, to the next. It can be anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes just to drive from one office to the next.
Mm.
And that is, when you're talking about that kind of distance just to get to another office, that was probably the most surprising thing to me. Again, and that's due to the scale of this. It's absolutely incredible, and they're just getting started. And so
Exactly.
that was the biggest thing for me. But what I did see was some of the best people in the world, from all corners of the globe, that are committed to a cause, and that are committed to see this succeed. And so, to be around those type of people, it just makes you want to step your game up even more as well.
Yeah. And as you are in the security area, so you have an additional role to look at from different angles, like situational awareness, because uh, current situation, potential situation, future situation, and what you can do. As you mentioned about the risk management, look at the current environment, and what can go wrong, what else can happen, security aspects, some can all these factors. What do you say about that?
Yeah, that's something that I mean that in being in the security world, risk is constant. Risk assessments is our business, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Certainly, it has different ramifications than your typical risk, but it's very important. And so, having to do that and not only that, being aware, situationally aware of, this is what I turn in as a risk assessment on a Friday because of the different things that and the different technologies that are constantly changing. My risk assessment is likely out of date by Monday in a lot of
Mm.
things. And so being aware of not only, regional, worldwide threats, different entities that, that quite frankly don't want to see this kind of progress, and want to see, projects fail, externally, again, around the world, different things or bad actors. It's our job to be aware of those things and mitigate them as much as we possibly can. And so, it's certainly challenging. I know, from a security perspective, you have to be right 100% of the time. They only have, the bad guys have to only be right one time. And so it's a tough job, but it's one that's very rewarding when you see a finished product, that's going to, the efforts that your team puts in, that, is going to likely, help protect not only the asset itself, but the people that are going to be working and being a part of their daily lives. That, usually we like to, not be intrusive and be behind the scenes where most folks don't even know that it exists, but it's there to make sure that their safety is paramount, and that ultimately they're going to be able to get home to their family at the end of the day.
Mm. Yeah, fantastic. And as a project manager, yes, we talked about as a risk manager and your experience. So as a project program portfolio manager, what the project they can do to be aware of what's happening and how can be they more effective?
Now, well, are you talking more in the security realm, or just
Anywhere,
just
like
overall in any
just
particular?
maybe talk
Yeah,
about your experience, whatever experience you have from
yeah.
their point of view, and so people can relate with that experience. Hey, yeah, this is what my experience as well, and I can grow into being a situational awareness, and then I can be more better, more effective project program manager.
Yeah, for me again, it's I'm more in the security world, but I also I pay attention a lot to different, news sources, of course, and having an understanding of what's going on regional, different threats around the region, and then of course, there, now that, with the COVID thing, you have to plan for bio type stuff as well, and so. Having a better understanding of what's going on, certainly helps me. But I'll even go in a broader sense. Even whatever industry you're in,
Mm.
I'm always paying attention. Let's say you're in the construction industry. I'm always paying attention of the big companies that are winning new contracts for, new airports,
Yep.
or, huge infrastructure projects around the world. I like to have an understanding of what is my competition doing?
Yep.
What are they up to? Is there something that they're doing that we're not? And if we don't adapt to that particular change in what they're doing, where does that put us? Does that put us behind the curve, or are they taking the risk into a new, venture that, again, maybe they've done their research and want to go to a new path less traveled, because it's always everybody's always trying to, find a way to get bigger and better and, faster and stronger.
Mm.
And so having that understanding, what are my competitors doing? I think, again, I go back to my college football days. In the off season, that person that you're going to go up against, that first game, he's working just as hard as you are. So what are you going to do to outwork him. Just those different things. Again, you can change it or put that into a career perspective as well. I think that's important. And I know we've kind of briefly talked about it as well. Especially with some of these bigger companies, when I know Parsons is a big company, and again, I've worked for some other big ones. Sometimes big companies, one of my old ones that I used to work for was very much siloed, and there may be a particular issue on one of my projects, let's say. And within my division, I don't necessarily have the solution for it. And so a lot of times the first reaction would be, let's go out and find someone in the industry that does. But a lot of times you forget to look internally beforehand. And I think a lot of times that your own company, especially these bigger ones, likely has the solution. It's just in another division, so to speak. And so I think that situational awareness is so critical, and having an understanding of what they're doing, your whole company is doing, and I think kind of gets forgotten in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, and this will bring me to my own experience while working for HP back in Australia, Sydney. So responsible to set up the cloud data center, Asia Pacific level. And we are talking 2010, those days cloud was new. And it's a very time, from the time point of view, it has to be done at a particular time. A lot of customers are waiting to go into the cloud. So we almost at the end of the program, and something was not working. The backup system was not working as we wanted to happen. So, okay, HP and all the big guys were watching and talking every minute, and 24/7 going on from Australia to Europe to America, and keep going, 24/7 for 5-6 days almost. We are exhausted. We exhausted all the options, all the big technology. Then all the architects, smart people were involved. Then I realized that one person is going to join my team in next 4 weeks. He is on the notice period and coming from the HP other departments. I just happened to talk to him. Hey, I know he's joining my team, but we have a situation going on. And this is, I explained to him. He said, Dharam, give me half an hour and consider it's done. And believe it or not, after 20 minutes, he calling me, Dharam, problem solved. Really? So the guy was sitting there and he's joining my team. I have been talking to him as well, and didn't realize he's the expert who knows that kind of thing. But hitting the hammer at the right place, he got the solution.
Yep.
That's where knowing your own team, your own organization can be a good thing, what you mentioned.
Yeah, a lot of times you're beating your head against the wall and trying to find someone in another company, and likely the one place that you forget about all the time is your own. Sometimes you really get upset with yourself after the fact, like, oh, I should have looked at that.
Yeah, so I am into not too much, but yeah, sometimes I get into the big puzzle, 1,000-piece puzzle, and all kind of thing, and it goes for many days and sometimes weeks. I do something and goes away. And this time I did one puzzle with my daughter. We said, okay, let's open the puzzle and let's start something. And I do a couple of pieces. She come and make a lot of things together. And then I do something. I say, look, Daddy, I finished almost this. Anyway, when sometime I'm doing it, hey, the piece was always there. And I'm looking everywhere. And once I put that piece, suddenly the puzzle started becoming real. Yep. That's where it is, finding the right piece, that may be a person sitting next to you, he or she has already solution. You just have to find out. You need to be aware of what's happening around you, paying more attention to not just further away, but what is around you, your own family, your own team members.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've, and even from a business development standpoint, we've had opportunities in the past where boots on the ground, so to speak, in a particular region of the world is very important.
Yeah.
And just being able to have those type of synergies and everything else. And, we've had opportunities where in other divisions where, gosh, I didn't even know we had those folks on the ground there. And, that may end up being a difference maker on a particular opportunity in the future. And so again, having that proper situational awareness can even help grow the business, or not only that, if you're in a particular situation where, say, some of your employees had to go home on emergency leave, or they're sick, even within some of the same regions, those other efforts may be able to backfill you for a temporary type endeavor to at least cover your bases. So being aware, at least at probably the program or portfolio manager level, is very important. I recognize that project managers are sometimes drinking through a fire hose, just trying to get everything done with all their deliverables. But again, it can make your life a lot easier. Again, knowing all of the tools that are available at your disposal, not just the ones that are in your tunnel vision, so to speak.
Exactly. And you mentioned a very good point, because most of the time project managers are under fire or just worrying about milestones and deliverables. And at the same time, they have to worry about lots of admin work, time sheeting, this and that. And you are expecting from them, hey, you should be situational awareness level, and what is going on with your competitor, what is happening with that. How can you expect it from them, especially when they're too much into this and the deadline's almost, anyway. So I think there are a few things they can do from my point of view. I'm coming from my own background, my experience working on this firehose, firefighter program projects. If we can have, of course, knowledge about what you have, what tools you have, and what maybe you have a system which can help you to manage your project even better. Sometimes knowing about that itself is a big thing, because you have a system like, if I'm using already Microsoft, then I go and Zoom. Then I realize, hey, I am already having Microsoft 360. The team, I already have a team. Then why I'm paying extra money for the Zoom? Anyway, so that's a different story.
Yeah.
Being aware of what do we have and how can I utilize this more effectively? Can I delegate some of the work? Sometimes we are too much, this is my work, but can you delegate some of the work to your subordinate who can manage it better, and you can focus more on your stakeholder engagement and, talking to the client and being aware, reading books and knowing what else is happening around the world can be a huge thing from the project program point of view.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. What I was going to say next was your stakeholder engagement and your management with them. If you have a very solid relationship with those stakeholders, again, internally and externally, you're going to get a very good understanding of at least, some lay of the land, so to speak, of what's going on, not just within your project, program, or portfolio, but you're going to get an idea of, hey, there's going to be another opportunity, with a new contract, maybe on a, similar work, maybe a different location. And again, with that stakeholder management on the internal, you may hear of a new opportunity that the company is pursuing, and you as the project manager, you or some of the folks that you have on your team may have the relevant work experience that can help that capture effort on the business development side to help win that effort. So, my boss, who's the business development senior vice president, he's always saying everyone on the team is business development. Every technician, every project, program, portfolio manager, everyone is business development.
Yeah.
Because that interaction in front of the customer and everyone else is vitally important. And will help. First off, give a good impression of the work that we're doing for current customers, and leads to other opportunities.
Yeah. And when we're talking about the tools and platforms, so the word is full of, I will not say full of, but there are a lot of emerging technologies coming. You don't just say, okay, I'm very comfortable with my Excel spreadsheet and my PowerPoint. I'm okay with that. But the things can be done even better using some tools and platforms. So that actually reminds me one of the small video or picture I've seen, like an animated picture of me. Uh, the three, four guys are pulling a cart with a square wheel. They have square wheels on the cart, and they're sweating. They're literally, pushing really hard. The other guy from outside, hey, why don't you put round wheels? And these guys say, don't worry, we are so busy at the moment. Don't tell us anything. Let us do our work. You're disturbing us. So as a project manager, you need to keep an eye. Maybe there is something better and some other tools available in the market which can help you to do your things even better. So,
Absolutely.
so, so using round wheel, you don't need four people. You can do by two people and pull it and get the thing faster, better.
Yeah. I think I even mentioned it in our previous webinar. We our some of my teammates, my team members, they do fantastic work, and they're used to doing it a certain way, and they're very structured, and they like to do it that way. And again, we know that it's going to be done well, and it's going to last. However, I think there was a one particular tool. I think it was maybe $30-$40. But that $30 to $40 tool saved roughly about an hour and a half worth of man hours. And
wow.
just little things like that can create some huge savings. And so we ended up buying one of them and having one of our guys use it, and they're like, oh, this is actually fantastic. And from then on out, it doesn't always have to be this great emerging technology. It can just, again, when I kind of go back to what I was saying about, I was wasting away an hour or so on social media. Like, just look at how you're doing certain everything. Just be aware of everything, and just sometimes just having a new set of eyes to look at something and go, hey, there's an easier way to do this. And just little things. And we always say it's the little things that end up really determining whether you win or lose a lot of times. And so again, it doesn't always have to be this grand scheme. It can be very little things that turn out to be huge savings.
Yeah, and I remember I with the Srinivas, and I gave you a demo of this tool, vxDCC. Simple tool, simple concept, and bringing the whole organization in one place. Literally on one platform can be revolutionary things to many organizations. Hey, and people are dealing with silos with the Excel spreadsheet and many of the things. And if I have a system like that, where I have a real-time information, and I can make the reports, just press a button kind of thing. So I can, okay, I have to do what goes inside, that will come out. That has to be there. But at the same time, I can focus more on doing better things. My team can be more worried about, getting the things done rather than worrying about updating the status report or team time sheeting. And let me focus on, as you mentioned, stakeholder engagement, or working with C-level people to give them right information, right time, or rather they have the information on the fingertip. Rather than they call you, they already can see on the system. So that kind of thing I'm talking, like what is available and what, within you, within an industry, and with experts. Sometimes you look at the videos, YouTube channel, like, this YouTube channel, somebody like Justin has said something, can be a game changer for you. So keep an eye on, not just stay focused on what you have to do. That's important, you have to do, but look at what is available on the easy to get divert with the social media. But look at, filter the information. This is what will add more value to me, and apply that knowledge and see if that makes difference to you.
Absolutely, and I know sometimes, especially as PMs, uh, it's when you're looking at something, hey, I want to get a new tool, but it's going to cost this money, and a lot of times that PM may get shot down on that. But again, like you had said, the like a PMIS type system. Well, if the PM is spending an hour or two a week constantly updating their schedule because their schedule is so dynamic,
Yeah.
and then they're having to do ETCs, and they're having to meet with another hour with that particular person every week to update those. I got to check with logistics and procurement to see the status of things. There's another 30 minutes to an hour. So all of a sudden you start adding up all this. You've easily spent 8 to maybe 20 hours per week just checking up on things, that if there's a tool out there that can save you that, well, okay, maybe that particular tool out there costs an X amount of dollars, but as a PM, you could really do the cost benefit analysis there.
Exactly. I was about to say that.
Yeah, I mean, where it would be a no brainer to purchase that particular tool that can save not only a PM's time, but as a portfolio or program manager, because let's face it, as PMs, you can kind of get distracted, or the customer has a last minute request, and then you didn't get your weekly report in or whatever to your bosses. Then they're having to spend time chasing that down because they have to report that up to their chain of command. It becomes a huge cost to keep doing things manually like that, that isn't necessarily tracked. But when you start looking at those efficiencies, you can see some real huge savings.
Exactly. And actually, that will make you as a great project manager, program manager, portfolio manager, because you are not just worrying about getting the things done. Yes, that is important, but rather you are focusing on stakeholder engagement and being aware of what's going on, looking at the news, looking at the YouTube, to get the right knowledge which you apply and get the things done. So that's where the difference comes. Being aware, being a situational aware versus not aware, just focus on, that's where I like to conclude. So that's an interesting discussion. How any project manager, if they can delegate a few things and focus on, and don't worry too much about, of course, if you have a system which can help you to get the things done by, a lot of things by itself, then you can focus more on engagement, stakeholder engagement, and knowing about what else you have. Because one thing is, when you have when you're worried about your deadlines, or your stress level is high, and you don't think, you just try to get the things done, and you make mistakes. But if you are calm and control, and you are, what are the tools you have, how can I press the button, things can be done very smoothly, then the difference is huge. Something was not, you were not able to see, immediately available to you. You can see, hey, it was always there. Just like my puzzle example, this puzzle piece was there all the time. I couldn't see it because I was too much worried about getting the things done.
Yep, you get that tunnel vision, and that's where the mistakes get made, and that can be the difference between a successful project and not. Sometimes it's that's the very it's that little difference that
little things
that
you
can,
talked about. A very small thing can make a huge difference. So find that small thing, and bit by bit, you'll do great.
absolutely.
Great stuff. Thank you very much, Justin. It was very insightful discussion, and thanks for sharing your knowledge and experience working on mega billion, or rather trillion dollar work. And I'm sure more and more discussion we're going to have. It will come out, and we're going to hopefully add more and more value to people around the world, and they continuously watch these videos, and continue to learn from the knowledge you have gained and I've gained. So with this, any last words you have?
No, I appreciate your time, and as always, I enjoy catching up with you, Dharam. It's always a pleasure. So appreciate this, and look forward to further discussions.
Great stuff. Thank you very much. And thanks, guys. And please keep watching. And if you feel, feel free to share with your friends and colleagues. Thank you very much and see you again. Bye now.
Thank you.